Hey Leo, welcome back to my channel. I'm Alexander, Quick Astrologer and Intuitive. This video is going to be about the astrology of June 2024 for the sign of Leo. So if you're new to the channel, hello. If you're a repeat listener, welcome back. And special hello if you are listening to the audio version of my podcast. Make sure if you're watching the video that you like, subscribe, leave a comment if it's hitting for you, and then also click on that little bell so that you get notifications when a new video is ready so you don't miss a video. And if you are listening to the audio version, make sure that you leave a 5-star review so people can find me on the podcast as well. So astrology 2024 for June, it's pretty busy. A lot happening in Gemini this first part of the month. So let's talk about Jupiter and Gemini first. So Jupiter for you, Leo, has moved into your 11th house. Jupiter is the planet of expansion and opportunity and wisdom, and it moved into this part of your chart on May 25th, and it will be here until June 10th, 2025. So it's spending over a year in this part of your chart. And Jupiter, it's going to activate this part of your chart. It's going to maybe bring some opportunities or some blessings, or will simply allow you more opportunity to expand that area of your life. And Jupiter and Gemini, just generally, for everyone across the board, more opportunities for learning, studying, communication, expanding the mind, really kind of providing a lot of mental stimulation. Jupiter in Gemini is very excitable energy and it's very curious. One thing about Jupiter and Gemini, it does tend to spread its energy or its focus in multiple different areas. It's like, I want to do this thing, but also this. And I also want to learn this thing and travel there and do this thing. So Jupiter will be square Saturn in Pisces the entire time it is in Gemini, which means Saturn will be asking us to focus. And, we have some sort of limitation energy from Jupiter. So Jupiter and Gemini may not be all this sort of magical blessings, magical expansion. It may be for you depending on your personal chart. But generally, the vibe with these two planets is sort of Saturn is going to kind of focus Jupiter, essentially. And it's saying, like, there's work to do. You need to focus on just a couple things or make sure that you kind of limit your focus somewhat so that you don't waste your effort, essentially. So with Jupiter in your 11th house until June 2025, that's going to bring some opportunity in groups. So groups, like-minded people, organizations that were involved in, let's say, for example, that you are like a drag queen, it's like the first example that comes to mind because I also like kind of work in that community. So if you're a drag queen or drag performer, the 11th house are going to be the other drag performers or the other people in that kind of performance space that can kind of give you opportunities or that you were to network. Or let's say that you're an astrologer. The 11th house is going to be maybe your audience, like the people that you are speaking to as an astrologer, or maybe just other colleagues, like other astrologers in your field, helpful people that can kind of give you opportunities. This can also be casual friends as well. It also can just be kind of like online social media space, like the groups that we are a part of. So there's going to be, there may be, I would say network opportunities to network or professional opportunities or personal opportunities may arise from these people that you are connected to over the next year. And I would also say that this part of your chart is connected to your hopes, wishes, and goals for the future. So Jupiter in the 11th house could be kind of magnifying, like, hey, it's really time to focus on these goals and to like actually make them happen. Or, you may be expanding the scope of them because Jupiter is optimism and kind of looking at what is possible. So that is also a possibility with Jupiter moving through your 11th house. So this Jupiter energy is really going to come into play with this new moon that we're having on June 6th. This is a new moon in Gemini. This is a very busy feeling new moon. There is a need to talk, to communicate, to explore new information. It's very curious. And again, it's also can be quite socially stimulating as well because Venus will be there. And Gemini is kind of a social sign anyway. Air signs tend to be more social. And this is a very kind of curious energy. Again, we're digesting information. We're learning something new. And that brings a lot of activation to that Gemini part of your chart because we have Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, the sun, and the moon all in that part of your chart during that new moon. So it may activate that Jupiter and Gemini energy, and you may kind of understand a little bit about what that Jupiter theme may be for you over this next year. And the other thing to this new moon, there's a couple things with this new moon actually. So again, we have that theme on groups and friends and colleagues coming in, and maybe new opportunities kind of arising from that. And then also feeling that maybe sense of expansion and opportunity in this part of your chart as well. However, this new moon is making a pretty mathematically exact square to Saturn. So again, that those things where I'm talking about limiting your focusing on your goals, what is in front of you, not spreading yourself too thin and wasting your effort, like really kind of, it's asking like, what are you building, essentially. The other thing, Venus is very close to the sun during this new moon. So Venus will be square Saturn as well. So there may be some themes around like relationships and value and worth. So it could be around our commitments in relationships. I was just looking, I was like, you could see me like looking on this video because I could not see my screen for a second because I'm not wearing my glasses right now. So anyway, but frankly, there could be things coming up around relationships, around our commitment to relationships, that relationships might take work. We could be asking if it's worth the effort to invest in, or are we feeling valued enough? This could be a financial thing as well, maybe like shared resources in relationships, how we kind of get our resources and finances kind of tied with other people when we intimately merge with them, because Saturn for you has been in your 8th house of other people's money and resources, and it's kind of psychological baggage, and it's been there since March 2023. So you're really kind of working through a very, I think, a more intimate part of your chart with Saturn being there. Perhaps you're feeling maybe a little pinched on your finances. Perhaps you're having to kind of structure them a little bit differently, or perhaps there's some kind of constraint when it comes to loans, investments, insurance, inheritance, financial aid. There's something maybe going on for you there, or that you're really having to kind of frankly go to therapy and like work through some sort of psychological stuff. So that may sort of play into this new moon's energy on June 2nd, or excuse me, June 6th. Next, we have Mars, the planet of action and asserting yourself, how you tackle your to-do list, the planet of energy and war, moving into Taurus. And it's going to be moving into Taurus on June 9th through July 20th. So it's moving from really energetic, let's just do it, warrior Aries energy to Taurus. And it's more conservative in Taurus, and it's more thoughtful, I think, about what actions it's going to be taking, because Taurus wants to know, is it going to be worth it for me in the end? So it is moving into the career part of your charts. It's moving into your 10th house. This could be time when you're, you're very focused on your career goals. You're very focused on kind of making things happen and achieving things in kind of your work and career space. This also could be, on the other side of it, Mars can also be conflict and inflammation. So this could be that, maybe that you're not getting along with authority figures at this time, or, that's certainly one possibility. But the larger energy during this time period, it may possibly be that you are kind of just working a little bit harder on career things, or there's that kind of red hot energy happening for you this summer, June 9th through July 20th, relating to work and career. Like we're motivated, we're working on it, and there might be a little bit of conflict and strife, but there's this energy of like, Mars and Taurus, despite its reputation for, maybe being a little bit more conservative in its approach, it's really motivated to like for financial and material security. So you could really be like, this could be an energy where you are very determined to make something kind of happen in your career space, or you're just feeling a little bit more feisty in that area of your life right now. I do want to take a second before I talk about the rest of the forecast to mention my class that I'm going to be teaching. I'm going to be teaching a class on Venus in your birth chart. So you're going to learn how Venus, the planet of love, pleasure, relationships, functions in your chart. So how she expresses herself in the sign the sign that she's in, how she expresses herself in the life area in your chart. Because Venus is a planet that can kind of smooth things out and bring opportunities, magnetize things. It talks about secret talents and how you attract things to you. So you can learn about those kind of unique qualities. as well as the life areas that she is in charge of. We're going to look at celebrity examples, and I'll also be doing some chart readings for you guys as well, and kind of tying everything together and showing you how it all works. The goal is to learn astrology in kind of bite-sized pieces. So you learn quality astrology that has some really kind of strong technical information, but in a way that you can actually digest and understand, because astrology can be very complicated. So that workshop is on June 12th. It's over Zoom video. So you can access it from anywhere in the world, 6:30 p.m. Mountain Time. The link to do that is in the comments or in the show notes if you're listening on the audio. And if you missed a class, it will be emailed to you as well. It'll be recorded. So, what Venus in Cancer? Venus, the planet of love, pleasure, and relationships. Speaking of Cancer, or speaking of Venus, she is moving into nurturing, security-focused, and meaningful connection-focused Cancer from June 17th through July 11th, moving from very social, excitable, mentally kind of focused Venus in Gemini. And that would mean that she is moving into your 12th house. She's moving into one of the most hidden parts of your chart. This is frankly this could be anything. Venus brings kind of beauty and smooth things out and brings some pleasure to wherever she is moving through your chart. The 12th house is about like rest, retreat, mental and spiritual health, and things that are kind of happening in like a hidden, in a very hidden kind of background kind of part of your life. So this could frankly be, finding more pleasure and frankly kind of just resting and having a nice little Netflix binge and just kind of chilling out. This could be finding some pleasure and harmony in working on mental and spiritual health matters and kind of connecting to your spirituality and releasing maybe some old patterns from the past. Or it could be that there's frankly a romantic or sexual kind of energy happening, but one that's sort of out of the public eye or just happening kind of in the background, essentially. So that's Venus in Cancer through that time period of June 17th through July 11th. Now we have our full moon this month happens on June 22nd in Capricorn. And this is the first of two full moons in Capricorn. The first full moon is happening at 1 degree of Capricorn. The second full moon happening a month later is happening at 29 degrees of Capricorn. This is very unusual. It's pretty rare. And it's kind of, 29 degrees is the end in astrology. It's the end. It's like the final degree of a sign. First degree is the first degree of a sign. So actually it'd be 0 degrees, but whatever. Close enough. This is kind of giving this sort of two-parter beginning and ending kind of feeling to this full moon story, and that there's this two-parter kind of energy happening. So this full moon is happening for you actually in your work sector. It is happening in your 6th house of your work, your job, your employment, your daily work routines, your daily grind, and also physical bodily health. So health routines, and in some cases it's about illness or recovering from illness and just kind of physical body health stuff. So there is a completion, a culmination, something coming up, an awareness or news or event connected to your 6th house stuff. So it could be beginning and ending a job, or coworker leaves, or or that is just more of a highlighted area of focus. And same with health. There's more of an area of focus with that full moon happening there on June 22nd. What's also interesting about this is Saturn. Saturn is a planet of mastery, lessons, and things that are hard but take a long time. And Saturn rules Capricorn. And so looking at what Saturn is doing during this full moon is very critical to understanding what's going on during this full moon. So Saturn stations retrograde just a week later on June 29th. So basically at the time of the full moon, it's slowing down and preparing to go retrograde. And when Saturn goes retrograde, there is that kind of reviewing and reassessing process of for you that could be looking at let's see, actually I forgot where that could be definitely putting things into focus relating to those shared finances and shared resources that I was talking about earlier in your 8th house, or that psychological baggage kind of stuff. That could be maybe more in focus, or that you're reviewing that kind of area of life. But at the same time, this also, when Saturn goes retrograde, it tends to pull focus. We tend to notice we tend to really pay more attention to that planet as it's going retrograde. And retrograde does not mean bad, by the way. It just means that it's under a period of review, or we're going back over something. So you may be reviewing something like something connected to your health and work, because Saturn governs over this part of your chart. And you also may be really kind of looking at relationships as well, because Saturn also rules that part of your chart as well. So a lot going on with that full moon. And again, it's kind of a two-parter. There's a sort of more, I would say there's more of the culmination and completion kind of feeling coming with the full moon in Capricorn next month. So that is your horoscope for this month. I hope that is helpful to you. Leave a comment maybe with your rising sign or your big three and let me know what's going on for you. And make sure to subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this, and don't forget about the class. So happy June, and I will talk to y'all soon.